America, we are thy sons, and we shall keep thee free. For in our veins there flows the blood of Washington and Lee. No foreign flag upon thy sun shall we allow to stand. No iron shackles from abroad shall touch thy foot or hand. They mock thy armies, say 'tis small, the navy too they scorn. Have they forgot the laurels once since freedom here was born? They say thy untrained citizens will never soldiers be. Have they forgot those valiant men who fought for you and me when our liberty is in jeopardy? Do not let it slip away. Will you make us stand? Will you make us stand to defend this land? Will you join our cause today? America, thy sons are true, and if thou wilt but call, 10 million men will give to thee their homes, their lives, their all. For thou dost stand for what is right, for freedom of the seas. God grant of glory may always flow forever in the breeze.
In his famous address to the Virginia House of Burgesses in March of 1775, Patrick Henry declared, "I have but one lamp by which my feet are guided, and that is the lamp of experience. I know of no way of judging the future but by the past." The liberties that we enjoy here in America give us great opportunities to succeed. However, such opportunities are accompanied by significant responsibilities. We must be careful to prevent the errors that freedom allows us to make. As Henry suggests, we will either learn from our history or be doomed to repeat past mistakes with our liberty hanging in the balance. Gentlemen, cry peace, there is no peace. Why stand we here idle while the battle rages on? Is life so dear and peace so sweet, to be purchased at the price of slavery? Give me liberty or give me death. I won't live another moment bound in chains. This will be my plea to all men of brave. Give me liberty or give me death.
We can be inspired by history when we learn to relate to the people in its pages. For example, have you ever felt too inconsequential to make a difference? Saint Joan of Arc was called by God when she was only a teenager to free France from England. She refused to let the obstacles of age, gender, or social standing to prevent her from completing her crucial mission. She won great victories for her country and inspired others to action. Yet I imagine that she, like me, did not always feel courageous. I'm just a girl, barely old enough to leave my family. Yet I know you've chosen me. I must be brave, but I must confess that I am so afraid, as my men are losing faith. Lord, give me strength. Lord, give me courage, as this young girl in armor fights against the foe. Lord, please have mercy. Lord, give me power.
I'm tired
strength.
and
Lord,
discouraged,
give me
wondering what
courage
we're
as
fighting
this young girl in armor fights against the foe. Lord, please have mercy. Lord, give us power. Renew our conviction. Help our confidence grow. Men, take courage. God is with us as we fight this bloody war.
Fight this bloody war.
Let our banner wave before us, showing what we're fighting for.
What we're fighting for our homes, for our families,
For God and liberty. Lead us onward into battle, all our faith we place in thee. While my quest was treacherously difficult, time and again I witnessed God's hand sustaining me as I faithfully obeyed him. In one instance, God revealed to me that I would recover from a severe injury. Later, I was injured in the throat by a crossbolt. This should have been fatal, but I was miraculously preserved to once again lead my troops. As now into battle we triumphantly go. Onward, men!
Ah!
Joan did not live to see the end of the war. She was captured and tried as a heretic. After much persecution, she chose to remain true to her convictions at the expense of her own life. Joan died in the knowledge that she had done her part to defend truth and right.
Like Joan of Arc, William Tyndale was burned at the stake for heresy. His crime, translating the Bible into English. This posed too great a threat to the English hierarchy, who maintained power by limiting access to information and truth. I am just a humble man of faith who won't stand idly by to watch our rights be trampled on while truth is made a lie. Are your hearts so cold you can't ignore the message ringing out? Do you hear the people shout?
Can you hear us? Can you hear us shout? Just imagine how the noble ones who fought to make us free are rolling in their graves right now at this atrocity. When it's clear as noonday sun, think of all the martyrs of the past, crying out for justice from the grave. When the judgment day has come at last, are you in our prayer? You have fallen for the lie that silence is a neutral stance. Better throw away your muzzle and confess your ignorance. Will you stand with us or will you choose the path of apathy? Will you join our heartfelt plea? Think of all the martyrs of the past, crying out for justice from the grave. Now the judgment day has come at last. Will you in our way? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you hear us shout? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you hear us shout?
It was William Tyndale's vision that all people could study God's words in their own language. His brave efforts sparked a movement that would not be silenced by his death. The work of Tyndale, Martin Luther, and others started a trend of thought and inspired people all across Europe to start to seek truth for themselves. This led to a religious reformation and set the stage for the separation of the Puritans from Scrooby England. They were forced by law to live the doctrines of the Church of England. After multiple attempts to flee the oppression of their country, being betrayed, robbed, and even imprisoned for trying to practice the religion of their choice, they finally arrived in Holland. And when Holland proved to not be the refuge they had hoped for, they embarked once again on a perilous journey to try to find a place they could call home. They would not be hindered in their pursuit for an environment where behavior was governed by the religion of their choosing and by their own moral compass.
What must I give to have my freedom? What is the price that I must pay? All that I own, what must I lose? What will it take? What must I give to worship freely? What is religion without faith? In all their rules I could not feel heaven's embrace. We sold everything we had for our escape, hoping for a better life across the sea. Now we're left with broken dreams of a brighter day. The dreams won't feed our children. What must we give to have our freedom? What is the price we have to pay? When will God hear? When will He lead us to a place of our own? It's more like a nightmare than a dream, for we, the poor of Scrooby, have only but a scrap to eat.
We work and we slave for the social elite. We have rags on our backs, forced to beg in the street.
It's hard for us to understand. Please, God, take us by the hand and lead us to a place around. People were hung for their beliefs. Bibles were burned and screwed, but Holland offers no relief.
Why should we endure such moral decay? Our children are taunted and tempted to stray.
It's hard for us to understand. Please, God, take us by the hand and lead us to a place where we can be free. A place of our own, far from tyranny's hand, blessed by God's holy grace. Is there such a land? We've got to get out. Please, God, help us flee a new land, a new world where we can be. It's more like a nightmare than a dream. For we, the poor of Scrooby, we must leave this land. Please, God, take us by the hand. Lead us to a place. Lead us to a place of our
Through time, many people have accepted tyranny because it was easier than venturing into the unknown. The Scrooby separatists chose to take a leap of faith and allow God to lead them to a place where they could be governed by conscience. They left their homes, crossed a treacherous ocean, and began anew in a dangerous and foreign land in order to obey God.
These first pilgrims considered themselves to be like unto biblical Israel, comparing their journey with that of the great exodus from Egypt.
Cargo on board, and our bags are packed. We believe today, no looking back. Dangers await on the open sea, but we need not fear, only believe. Let's set sail for the promised land, where the milk and honey flow. Just as God delivered Israel, He will lead us safely home. Leaving behind all we've ever known. With a prayer we'll find a place of our own. I don't know why we'll leave our home by trusting you. Settling down. Let's set sail for the promised land, where the milk and honey flows. Just as God delivered Israel, He will lead us safely home.
We've set our course, all the sails unfurled. May the good winds lead to a brand new world. Woo! Anchors away. For the promised land, where the milk and honey flows, just as God delivered Israel, He will lead us safely home.
While there may not have been much milk and honey when they arrived in America, in the eyes and hearts of those believing people, there was no question but that they had been brought by the hand of God, and it was to be for them a promised land.
They, like all new settlers in the Americas, faced many hardships, such as disease, harsh weather, inexperience with the climate, and altercations with the Native Americans and other colonizing nations. But they persevered, and eventually the American colonies became more prosperous than those first separatists could have dreamed.
In the 1760s, England determined that the colonists should help pay its staggeringly high debts. After all, a large portion of these debts were accrued after defending the colonists in the French and Indian War. However, the taxes and laws that were imposed were far too great for the colonists, crippling their economy, plunging them into a depression, and infringing on their personal rights. When their petitions for redress were answered with additional injuries, the colonists declared they had danced with the king for long enough.
Take away our rights, you trample on our freedoms, your laws have become unbearable.
Why all these usurpations, Your Majesty?
You take us overseas, deprive us of a jury, and try us for pretended offenses.
You have imposed promises without our consent, Your Majesty.
Without our consent, you keep standing army and treat us like we're prisoners of war.
You protect your own soldiers from punishment.
You cut off our trade, you plunder our seas, you rise and burn our towns.
I am the king, and you are all my subjects. Say yes to my every command.
It's no, Your Majesty, it's war, Your Majesty, a revolution, Your Majesty. For you are guilty of tyranny. Tyranny, our dance with you is through.
Then war it shall be.
As you wish.
May all of us have the courage to defy consensus and stand for principle.
Sacrifice has been a common theme among our heroes. To those who truly value liberty, there is no sacrifice too great. Our founding fathers were no exception. When they pledged their lives, their fortunes, and sacred honors to America's Declaration of Independence, they faced losing everything they possessed, even if necessary, life itself.
Sign by all your hopes in life, as husbands and as fathers, as men with our names to the parchment.
Sign by all your hopes in death, and even if the gibbet's ropes around your neck, sign and die without regret.
Sign, it may take all you got, your treasure and your blood may be the price to pay.
Sign not only for yourselves, this parchment will become the textbook of all freedom. Sink or swim, live or die, survive or perish. I give my hand and heart to this. These words will go forth when our bones are dust.
To the man in his workshop they'll speak hope. To the slave in the mines they'll speak freedom. And to coward rulers they'll speak words of warning they cannot ignore.
There, now His Majesty can read my name without glasses.
Sign by all your hopes in life,
by all your hopes in life,
with our names to the parchment.
My hand trembles, but my heart does not.
Your hopes in death. Sink or swim, live or die, survive or perish. We give our hands and hearts to this. These words will go forth when our bones are dust.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Sign by all your hopes in life, as husbands and as fathers, as men with our names to the parchment. Sign. At the signing of the Declaration of Independence, these were renowned and educated men of means. By the time the Revolutionary War came to a close, more than half had lost their lives or fortunes. Many died in rags, and some were executed as traitors. If these men can declare truth at so high a cost, surely we can summon the courage to do not that which is easy, but that which is right.
Discouragement, hopelessness, despair. These are the emotions we all experience. In our fight for freedom, whether it be freedom from an oppressive government or personal freedom from the bondage of sin, there are times when we fall short. At times, we are ready to give up or wonder why we even bother. By December 1776, the Continental Army had suffered many demoralizing defeats. Cold, hungry, and discouraged, they were ready to give up. General George Washington knew that he must rekindle hope in the minds of his soldiers and the American people, or the war for independence would be lost. When I feel discouraged, I think of that cold December night, and imagine General George Washington would have said something like this.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, each refused to bow. Their sentence was a furnace flame, yet they survived somehow. Believing God could save them, not knowing if He would. They trusted if they lived or died, their sacrifice was good. They would never surrender, they would give up their lives, not abandon the truth or shun the fight. And with God as their witness, they faced the flames, and we all recall their names.
And Daniel in the lion's den was left alone to die. Yet Daniel played with lions and just like a little child, believing Daniel know that God would cause the lions to be tame. And witnessing this miracle, the people's hearts would change. He refused to surrender, freely offered his life. When most would have conformed, he sacrificed. And then with God as his witness, he knelt to pray. And he proved what comes by faith. So though our numbers may be few, shall we refuse to fight? No, God makes impossible possible, and will for you and I.
Are we men or mice? Will we give in to fear?
Well, that's the spirit.
Though it's cold as ice, our hearts burn with desire.
Well said, young man.
Thank you.
We will face our foes, look them straight in the eye.
Men, tyranny is not easily conquered. Yet the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph.
We will never surrender.
So though our numbers may be few, shall we refuse to fight for truth and right?
And with God as our witness,
He makes impossible possible. We'll stand like them.
into lion's den.
We will never surrender.
We'll prove what comes by faith.
Follow.
On Christmas Day, in a miraculous sequence of events, General George Washington led his armies across the frozen Delaware River and launched a surprise attack against the Hessian mercenaries in Trenton. Without losing a single casualty, the Continental Army killed 30 and captured nearly 1,000 prisoners, as well as much-needed supplies. The victory in Trenton was the boost in morale that the American people needed to continue the war for independence. The French were encouraged to lend their support.
During the months of debate at the Constitutional Convention, Benjamin Franklin often pondered the symbolism of the sun carved on the back of George Washington's chair. With so many different viewpoints, it seemed the new states would never be united. How then did they succeed in drafting this divine document? These were moral and virtuous men, and while their opinions were varied, they were united in their devotion to God and to their purpose in creating a government that would secure the blessings of liberty for all people. That was enough to invoke God's divine aid.
Or a setting one, I've often wondered as I looked upon this chair, and now it's clear to me, after all we've done, that this moment is a rising sun. Is this the dawning of a new day, when all the shackles of the past are turned to dust? Or as a quickly fleeting vision, is this the sunset before the dusk?
Truly God has worked a miracle among us.
Without him, such headstrong men could not agree.
That's right.
As the carver holds the answer to this question, God alone knows what our destiny will be. This is a witness to all ages that God has heard their desperate prayers. This day we stand in history's pages. We'll thank God that we were there. This is the birth of a new nation, which God has destined to be free. He has provided this foundation to secure our liberty. Is this a rising sun or a setting one? God only knows, and we shall see.
The sacrifices made by individuals throughout history for the cause of liberty cannot be overpriced. We can internalize their stories and use them to inspire us in this cause. We must participate in the process of our government. We must play an active role in our communities. We must promote, defend, and live the principles of liberty.
America, thy sons are true, and if thou wilt but call, 10 million men will give to thee their homes, their lives, their all.
Because we all are different, we can each make unique contribution to the cause of liberty. Francis Scott Key penned a poem that became our national anthem.
Betsy Ross was a seamstress who created our American flag.
Whatever your contribution, God will bless your virtuous and righteous efforts.
God grant old glory, may always float forever in the breeze.
May we proclaim with Patrick Henry. Gentlemen, cry peace, there is no peace. Why stand we here idle while the battle rages on? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet, to be purchased at the price of slavery? Give me liberty, or give me death. I won't live another moment bound in chains. This will be my plea till all men are free. Give me liberty. They tell us, sir, that we are weak and cannot beat this foe. But we need not be stronger, for we shall not fight alone. For God is just, and will raise up men who will join us in this holy cause.
For homes, for families, for God and liberty.
We will never surrender, we will stand for the right.
Sink or swim, live or die, survive or perish.
These words will go forth when our bones are dust.
Give me liberty, or give me death. I won't live another moment bound in chains. Let your voices ring.